In this video, I want to show you how to use StatCrunch to achieve some of the descriptive statistics, including graphs and summary statistics, from some of the different types of variables that we've discussed. Let's begin with a quantitative variable. So here, I've loaded some data by going to Chapter 2's menu and going to 2.1 Exercise 37. And here we've got some data on triglyceride levels in the blood. And what we would like to do is get some descriptive statistics and graph this. So let's start with different ways that we can graph this. To do that, we'll be using the graphics menu. And we know that some of the different graphs that we can use for a quantitative variable are histograms, stem and leaf plots, and box plots. So let's create one of each. Let's start with a histogram. Going to the graphics menu and clicking histogram will allow us to begin the process of creating a histogram for these variables. We want to create one for triglyceride levels, so we'll click on the variable we want to create a histogram for, and then we'll click Create Graph. Simple as that. We have a histogram now that we can take a look at, describe, and study. Let's try to create a different graph. So I'll just close this, and let's try a box plot. I'll go to Graphics, Box Plot, and again I'll select the variable that I want to create a box plot for, and I'll click Create Graph. And now I have a box plot. Now this Options button allows us to do several things. We can copy this, print this, or save it. We can also edit, meaning we can go back in, and if we feel that we've done something wrong, we can edit the commands that we use to create this. Let's try our final graph, the stem and leaf plot. So go to Graphics, Stem and Leaf, select the variable, and click Create Graph. And here we have a stem and leaf plot of the variable. Now the other thing we might want to do with a quantitative variable is summarize it using the mean or standard deviation, interquartile range, the quartiles, the median, or any other number of descriptive statistics. And to get those, we'll go to Stat, Summary Stats, Columns. We'll select the column that we want to summarize and click Next. And you can see that by default, what's selected is the number of things in the column, the mean, the variance, the standard deviation, the standard error, which we will not use in this course, the median, the range, the min, the max, Q1 and Q3. If we also want the IQR, we'll just select it here and it'll appear in this box. All of these statistics will be output for us. Click Calculate when you're finished, and here it tells you the column that you've performed the operations on and gives you all of the descriptive statistics that you've asked for. Now let's work with some qualitative variables. So for this one, I'm going to just type some data in, and you can follow along typing with me. I'm going to enter into this column the genders of maybe different patients that you have. So I'll just enter male, female, 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 male, 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 female, and male. Again, go ahead and type those all in. So we'll just use a small data set since we're typing this in, and we'll explore different kinds of graphs and how we can summarize this data. So let's begin with the graphs. First, I'll click on Graphics. Remember that there are two types of graphs we can use for a qualitative variable, a bar plot or a pie chart. Let's start with a bar plot. There's two options here, with data and with summary. Since we've typed in raw data, we'll use with data. But let's suppose that someone had given us a list. Say, for males, there were 5 people, and for females, there were 4 people. If we had that type of data where we had it listed in a table and already summarized, then we'd use with summary. But for now, we'll select with data, select the column that you want to work with, and click Create Graph. And here you have a bar chart of your qualitative variable. Now let's try a pie chart. So we'll go to Graphics, Pie Chart, with data, select the column, and click Create Graph. And here we have a pie chart of our data. Now suppose that we want to summarize this data. So to do that, we'll go to Stat, Tables, Frequency. So we wanted this to actually go through and count the frequency of each type of gender. Click on gender, and you can click next, and you can select frequency. It's pre-selected for you. Relative frequency is also pre-selected. And click calculate, and this will count up the number of males and females and give you the proportion of each as well. Now I want to show you a quick example of using the with summary option for the graphs. So I'm going to come over here into var4, and I'm going to put in male and female, and then I'm going to list the number of males and females. Let's say there were 19 males and 25 females in this case. This is when we have it summarized, so we don't have a raw data set like this. We have everything already counted up. So we'll go graphics, pie chart with summary. Let's suppose we want to create a pie chart. And it asks us, where are the categories? So the categories are listed in var4. And where are the counts? They're listed in var5, so I'll put var5 here. And I'll click create graph, and here it'll create a graph for me using the summary data. And the same thing can be done with the bar chart. That wraps up Chapter 2 with StatCrunch. If you have any questions about using StatCrunch, please let me know.